Hey guys, just doing another video here for the Blade 180 CFX. This one's going to be on removing the slop in your main shaft. You can see from the gear to the main shaft, mine's actually got a fair bit. I can move it up and down at least a millimeter or so. Whether that really affects flight, hey, who knows. But Blade was nice and gave you, in that little bag of goodies that you normally get, you will find a little bag of shims. Now, they usually give you about 3, unless 1 or 2 have gone missing already. And you just install those wherever you prefer, but I find it easiest to be at the top of the head here, or just below the head actually, to make it easy to install. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Now, there's quicker ways of doing things, but since we're doing a video and all this stuff is fiddly, I'm just going to remove as much as possible to make it easier to see. So first, let's just remove the blades because they just get in the way. It's not that you need to remove them, they just are annoying. So both blades, you'll need a 1.5 millimeter driver. The kit does come with the heli does come with one, but it's a little hand one, so I prefer to use a nice big Scorpion. Or if I'm doing small stuff, I've got a little Dubro guy as well. So once the blades are removed, you can now actually get at the rest of the heli. So we need to remove the whole main shaft. Now there's a couple ways of doing it, but I'm going to do the way that I prefer. So to start with, remove the bolt that goes through the main gear at the bottom of the shaft. It's pretty difficult to see, but at least in a video. Just be gentle with this because this bolt is in a plastic gear. There is no lock nut like on the 300X and other helis. Just too small and too hard to get it in there. So don't be rough on it. You strip that, you're getting the CA out or getting another gear. Once you think you got the bolt all the way out, it may fall out, but 9 times out of 10 it's easier just to go grab a set of tweezers and pull it out. I got lucky. So put that guy aside. And now the gear is free, but the shaft is not yet. There's a little ring and a collar there that will catch on the swash if you try to remove it. So now you need to remove most of the swash. So at this point, it's easier for me. I just removed the anti-rotation ring because they did not put a screw on the anti-rotation pin going into the swash, so it's not removable. So remove the anti-rotation bracket. Now you'll be able to get at this link. Next, I'm using, you can use your fingernails, it's up to you. I'm just using a nice little line, I think it's for a 250. It's a little set of tweezers, ball link pliers. You won't be able to use normal ball link pliers, they're just too big. So I'm using these, and out of the box, the little nib that pushes on the ball is round. I have no idea why they did that. It makes it slide all over the place and generally not work. It needs to be concave to sit on a ball. So all I did was file a flat spot with a file, and now it grips better. So now we can just pop the links off. And like I said, you can use your fingernails with this, you can use this, you can do whatever you want. But just remember, if you break one, you've got an issue. This heli does not come with a spare rotor hedge linkage set, or any at all. Most of the blades do, this one does not. So if you break any of these, you're either going to need a new swash, or you're going to need a BLH 3405 linkage set. Which I picked up because I knew eventually I'd start breaking these things. So, she'll pop. Same for the other side. Pop. When you actually get the hang of it. The rear one you can't do. You just have to use your fingernails and pop it and hope it doesn't break. Okay, now you still won't be able to tilt the entire swash enough to get that pin, the link off the anti-rotation pin. So you can try getting just enough angle and see if I do, and I did. Just be careful, you're going to move that servo, and you may actually pull it to its 100% vertical position, and then it'll be a a little tough to get back down, so just be gentle on it. In fact, be gentle on all these servos. They're very tiny and are easily stripped. Once you got that all out, your head should now be free, and you should be able to pull your main shaft out. It will catch. These bolt holes are not perfectly deburred, so you may have to just give it a slight little twisting motion, but that's about it. Once you've got it out, you'll actually see that there is a little ring here on the main shaft, and that's where we're going to put the washers actually beneath it, so they then rest against the main bearing at the top here. So go to your bag with your shims. I've already done mine before, so I know mine only needs 2 shims. So we'll pop those guys out. I'm going to grab 2 shims, put them on the main shaft. 1, 2. Now there's no way you'll be able to see this, it's far too small, but they're there. Then reinstall the head and the main shaft back into the heli through both bearings. Careful you don't pop anything out. Once again, like they're not deburred, so you'll have to give them a bit of a twisting motion. Now's a good time to sneak on that rear link to the anti-rotation pin, and just give your main gear a bit of a twist until it slides down. And of course that would slip off. So slide that back on until you hear a nice little click. Same for your other linkages. You can just push them on with your fingers now. You don't need a tool of any sort. Just be gentle. And don't strip those servos if you're reefing on the links. Once you've got all that back in, everything kind of level again. Now comes the tricky part of trying to find the hole in the main gear that the screw goes through. Be very careful, there's 2 sides. One side is smaller than the other. Obviously that's where the threads go through. The larger hole is where you actually put the bolt. So you've got to line that up, find the hole in the shaft, and stick the bolt back in. Again, be exceptionally careful. I'm using a large tool. You don't want this much torque on this bolt. You'll strip the plastic. I'm just doing it because my other one has a ball end, which makes it very difficult. It can be a little tricky to get in. You may have to twist the main shaft left and right to actually get the hole to line up. As a good tip, I find if you hold it up in front of a light or a lamp, that way you can see through the main shaft to find the hole. And as you can see, I'm having that exact same problem right now. It's not perfectly lined up. So we'll pull that guy back out. Of course, it did bite in the plastic a bit. Okay, now we just gotta find it, and it's there. But welcome to the wonderful world of bolts that don't want to line up perfectly. Attempt number 647. Fun, isn't it? This is why some people don't like micro helis. They can be fidgety, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. Spin that main shaft again. There we go. That time I actually saw it. Using a black mat isn't also a good idea. A nice white piece of paper would have made it easier to see that hole. And now she's through. And once again, be gentle. In fact, I'll probably switch to my smaller Dubro so I don't over torque this poor little thing and strip all the plastic. Just get it in so it's snug. It's all plastic, it's not going to vibrate out by itself. And once you got it in, check your play, and now as you can see, well, it's pretty difficult for you to see, but for me to see, it doesn't move at all. So 2 shims was perfect. You may have to play with 1 shim, with 2 shims, maybe all 3, just guess. The next thing you may want to do is check the level on your swash. Once you've got everything reassembled, it may have affected it. But since the servo centering menu doesn't work yet, you'll have to level it mechanically, which is the preferred way anyways. Get the anti-rotation bracket back on, which can also be an absolute joy on a tiny heli. Once again, don't strip it. You're going into a tiny little aluminum head there. Okay, so now she's back together. And no play in the main shaft. So now you can throw your blades back on and go give it a test. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope that helps a few of you guys. Take care.